which might provide educational opportunities to a privileged few, but will definitely deprive the public schools of desperately needed resources. The supporters of vouchers frequently claim that this is a choice, when actually all it is a chance. If you win the lottery, you have a chance to go to the private school, but if you lose, then you're stuck in the public schools with fewer resources because all of the money spent on vouchers. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do to complete the promise of the Brown decision. The 60th anniversary of the decision offers us an opportunity to rededicate ourselves to achieving these lofty ideals. Again, I want to thank the gentleman from Nevada for the opportunity to speak. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman from Virginia. Thank you for your historical frame on this important subject on the 60th anniversary of the Brown decision. I'd next like to yield time to a true champion for working families in his district in New York and for people all across this country, a fighter for average, everyday working people and for children who deserve a quality education. I yield now time to the gentleman from New York, Representative Charlie Rangel.
Let me really thank the gentleman from Nevada for constantly reminding us what a great country we live in and how it can be so improved. Having fought in the war, screaming and yelling and complaining, but recognizing how great this nation is, and it was an opportunity to say thank you for the blessings that have been bestowed on this nation, and thinking about those who drafted a constitution that didn't include slaves or women or people who didn't hold land, and yet they drafted a document that was flexible enough for us to be able to say that that great Statue of Liberty meant that talents from all over the world to come to make us the largest democracy, the strongest military, and the greatest economic force in the world. And we've done that because we've always felt that no matter what your background is, that if you could get here, you could make it here. You know, when we talk about the Brown decision, nobody ever thought that just sitting next to white folks or black folks that we were going to get a better education. What we try to overcome in our schools is that nobody of color that picked cotton, that fought in the battlefields, that have the highest patriotic record as any other group of people would not be able to be denied the opportunity to participate in economic growth of this country. Individuals who succeed in this country means community succeeds in this country. When that happens, the nation can succeed in this country. When the flag is saying the United States of America, there's no color involved or language involved in basically what people think. They know that we've been able to bring together a gorgeous mosaic. But if because of color, if just because of color you associate it with poverty and lack of education, lack of decent housing, then this is a cancer that we must not only talk about, but this is a cancer that really prevents America from being all that she can be. Recently, a person in the other body thought that the political opposition to President Obama was based on his color. Most of us know there's no question about it. Most of us know that there are still parts of this great nation where people never believed that the Union Army prevailed and that President Lincoln was a true patriot. Some of those people hate our president with the same hatred that they hated Abraham Lincoln. But the truth of the matter is that more and more people of color are coming to this country. What will bind them, what will make us stronger is that they be educated, that they be able to get into the middle class, that they be able to prosper. And the Brown decision merely said that a person, an American, that's being denied an equal opportunity to get an education is being denied due process. It's like sending a person to the wars without a rifle, without the resources to negotiate saving his life and destroying the enemy. And so we're not talking just about doing the right thing. You cannot love this country if you're not going to be prepared to educate everybody in this country. And it's going to take more than a court decision, especially this present court. It's going to take that this generation has to stop teaching their kids to hate people because of their color. Because if you leave it up to kids, if you really just put them together and see how much they laugh and joke and not be aware that somebody somewhere had some poison venom that said that the variations in color means the variations in support. So I think that the Congressional Black Caucus, and especially you from Nevada, are the patriots that we have today. The willingness to tolerate the indifference and the lack of sensitivity to our need, but also the willingness to work and to come together and to make certain that color does not take away from our mutual respect and our ability to gain the tools that would allow us to make the maximum contribution to this great country. I thank the gentleman for this opportunity, not only to salute those who drafted the Constitution, but in making it flexible enough for people that they never thought about to be able to participate and really make it work for all of us. Thank you so much.
I thank the gentleman from New York. Thank you for your wisdom and your sage advice and challenging us to, even today, remember what the Brown decision is all about, and that is for people to truly be treated equally, not by the basis of race. And we know, based on where we are today in America, though there are some who want to say that we live in a post-racial society, when you look at the outcomes of young people based on where they're from, clearly we have not lived up to the full promise of what Brown has intended. So thank you for your advice and for participating in this special order hour. I'd like to turn now to the chairman for the Progressive Caucus here in the House, the representative from Minnesota, a great man with great vision, Representative Keith Ellison from Minnesota.
Well, let me thank you, Congressman Horsford, and thank you for leading this special order on Brown versus Board of Education. I think it could be safely argued that there's really no more important Supreme Court decision in the history of the United States. I believe it is the most important decision, and the reason why is that our country was founded on the idea that all men were created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And yet, for so many years, 243 years, men and women were held in bondage in this nation dedicated to freedom. American slavery, racism, and discrimination stands as an indictment and as evidence of the insincerity of that fundamental promise of America. And then for another 100 years after slavery ended, for black people to exist in a state of Jim Crow subordination is further evidence that those original words really were not intended and really were not sincere. But Brown versus Board of Education was a restoration. It was an attempt to say, you know what? We've had an ugly past in this country. We have not lived up to our values. We have said we have called on freedom, we have declared freedom, and yet we have given people the opposite of freedom, which is slavery. But with Brown versus Board of Education, the United States has began a process of pushing the old ugly past to the back. Now, I know very well we could stand up here, and we will stand up here and talk about